So, I've been studying some diets from all around the world right now, and I've studied them on their micronutrients. I've studied every single vitamin that you need for your body. I've studied every single part of each diet in the world recently. And I've come to the conclusion that 99.9% of the men in the world are malnourished. You're probably malnourished in some kind of way. Of course, you're not like dying, starving, literally, like in very poor places, people actually end up starving, having no food. But you're not like in that situation, probably. However, you're probably very malnourished in a lot of nutrients. A whole lot of nutrients that are very, very important for men, for their development, for their brain development, for their minds. And this is the main topic of this video. And I'll tell you, even though I'm kind of a tall guy, I'm 6'2", I'm strong, I have somewhat of a deep voice for a 17-year-old, I have really good signs of good nourishing. However, I'm also malnourished. I've also grown malnourished. And if you're like 17 like me, if you're 18, 20 years old, you're getting a lot of value from this video. However, if you're 12, 11, very young, you're getting a whole different level of value. You will have so much value from this video that it will probably be the most important video that you have ever seen in your whole life if you start this as a young man. So the younger you are, the more value you're going to take out of this video. So you might wonder why the title of this video is You're Malnourished, right? I'm gonna explain you in detail why is that true. Let's start with testosterone production. So basically, testosterone is what makes you actually a man. If you're like a guy that ended up with XY chromosome, um, you are born as a guy, but you have like some kind of disease where you cannot produce testosterone at all, you will totally develop like a woman. In all senses, you're going to develop like a woman. Why is that so? Basically, it's because testosterone has everything to do with how guys end up developing in their early years of age. This this changes fucking everything, because once you start producing a whole lot more testosterone and your body produces receptors for using up that testosterone, you will actually turn into a man. What does this mean? Your dick will get bigger, your voice will get deeper, you'll probably start growing hair in some places like your armpits, like in your face. Maybe if you're kind of unlucky like me, you will end up having these things, This is not as much as unlucky as you think it is, because it kind of makes you look more masculine, but it does lower your attraction. So yeah, you look more masculine in trade of something. However, having testosterone depends on a lot of things. Testosterone is a hormone that can't really make ligaments, they can't really bond with other molecules without boron. And you know what? 90% of the diets in the world are deficient in boron. When you supplement boron in people that have this problem with not eating any boron at all, they will have a testosterone increase of up to 200%. at least, this is like a very low value actually for the value of bottom. So boron changes fucking everything when you talk about testosterone, right? Well, not quite. You need a lot of other nutrients, such as carnitine, which is also necessary for your hormones. So basically, you could say that if you don't really have the nutrients for certain things, you're getting fucked because of it. You're getting like 10,000 times less testosterone if you don't have any of the nutrients as for someone that has all of them. Of course, 10,000 times is it is an exaggeration. However, this is kind of true. They may have like at least 1000% more testosterone than you. If you take a person with the exact same genetics as you, but was not malnourished in any time of their lives. So you already know that you need a lot of nutrients for you to have an actually stable organism. So let's go through a perfect diet where you have all the nutrients that you need. Maybe you cannot do this diet because it's pricey. Maybe you cannot do this diet because your parents won't let you. But if you can like at least do somewhat similar of it, you're getting a lot of value throughout your life. Remember, as always, from like your 9 years of age towards your 25 years of age, you're building up the body and mind that you're going to use for the rest of your life for the next 50 years. So from these like space of 15 years, you need to build a really, really stable, strong, and firm body where you can make up for the rest of your life because you ended up having so much value from this age. And trust me, and if you work out for all these 15 years of your life, if you eat a healthy diet, if you eat like at least a nutritious diet for all these 15 years, you're going to be immediately top 1% men. Of course, you're not going to be top 0.01% men, which are like millionaires and billionaires and people that have a lot of money, that have huge businesses, that have like huge careers around them, like athletes. Of course, you're not going to this without really, really tiring yourself out. However, if you just do the diet and the bodily part throughout your whole childhood and your whole teenage years, if you have this all done, you're already jumping to 1% immediately. So this is the kind of value that you just can't skip, man. This is the kind of value that you will not be able to build after these 25 years of age. And I'm not trying to sound like unhopeful for you here if you're already 25, of course. And trust me, there's a lot of other things that you can do from this age and on that will better off a lot of your life. However, it'll not be as effective. Don't try to be fucking delusional. If you're going like really aging really badly, if you're getting like a lot of junk food that you're already addicted from a lot of time ago, you're already addicted to video games from a long time ago, you fucking deserve to need a lot of effort to get out of it. You fucking deserve to have to eat a really good pricey diet every single day to make up for the years that you were a fucking moron, to make up for the years that you've lost for yourself. So having this mentality where you deserve these things, it's kind of dangerous. However, it is very, very good for yourself. Because with this, you can put yourself at the center of the thing and control all. I deserve to be like this. I deserve to be addicted to video games. So since I deserve it, I have control over it. Since it's my fault, I have control over it. So now that you think like that, let's go on to the diet. First of all, meat and animal-based food. Anytime that you eat animal-based food, you're getting much more value from it than if you ate not animal-based food. I had to leave in the midst of the video, so this is a continuation for this video. As I was saying, the perfect diet for you to eat needs meat and animal derivatives. This means that you should be eating dairy, you should be eating eggs, but you should focus solely on meat. And why do I say this? I say this because it has all the essential nutrients that you need to have. Oh, but how about the carbs? If you take a look at the studies, what your body actually needs to grow for you to live healthily, carbs aren't really necessary. Carbs really aren't necessary. And by this, I mean that carbs don't really have an essential, useful thing for your body. Of course, you can take out energy from them, but you can also do this from fats. You can also do this from proteins. So I do not consider carbs as an essential nutrient. And by the way, changing your oxidative state every time from carbs to fats isn't really healthy as soon as you turn, I don't know, 5 years old. Because as a baby, yeah, you can take out energy both from fats and carbs at the same time, but when you grow up, you can no longer do this. You take either from that or either from carbs, and to change from these to another, your body needs a lot of stress to do it. And it is very problematic, actually. And we don't want this kind of stress when you're a teenager. So basically, in resume, if you pick up this whole video, what I'm talking to you is, don't fall for the vegetable propaganda. Eat more meat, eat more dairy, eat more eggs, and go live a healthy life. Go take out a lot of value from this video, mainly if you're really young. Of course, it will change your whole life if you do this when you're 11, but it still has value if you do this when you're, I don't know, 25. So that's it. As always, remember, the value of a man is just as high as his ambitions.